there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor? Mr. Gleed, are you voting?
Yes.
That passes unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Are you calling the meeting to order?
Yes, I am.
I make a motion to close executive session. No, we close the work session.
Okay, go ahead.
First one, you close the regular session, now you close the work session.
Right.
No, actually, we close the work session.
What does the record reflect?
The records reflect that the work session was closed.
Okay, I'll take a motion for executive session.
I'll make a motion to close executive session.
Second.
Properly moved and second. In discussion? All those in favor? That passes unanimously. Madam Clerk. I'm sorry.
Roll call for council meeting, regular meeting is Councilmember Rao.
Present.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Present.
Councilmember Willis. Councilmember Gilliard. Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Khalid.
Present.
Councilmember Baker.
Present.
Also present is Mayor Edwards, City Manager, Mr. Donald, City Attorney, Ms. Walker, and record reflects that Councilmember Willis entered. We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time we will have an introduction of our pastor for the day by our pastor Warren Henry, followed by the State of the League.
Hello everyone. The Mayor, City Council would like to present to you from the office of the chaplain our 9th chaplain of the day, none other than Pastor Jamal Hudson Jones. Pastor Jones serves as the senior pastor of the Faith Center Church, 1270 Southwest Highway 138, Riverdale, Georgia. He also resides at 6520 Greenbower Lane in the great city of South Fulton in the 7th District. Will you all join me, and ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our chaplain of the day, Pastor Jamal Hudson Jones. Let us all stand.
First, at this time, I want to thank this council, all of you great men and women, for letting me come and be a part of your session. It is my honor and my privilege to be amongst such great people in the city of South Fulton. Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, it's once more and again, God, that a few of your people have gathered together. Oh God, we come now, God, thanking you for this day. God, your word says that this is the day that you have made, and God, we're going to rejoice. No matter what our circumstances are, we're going to rejoice. Yes. Oh God, we come now thanking you for this meeting tonight. God, thank you for all of these people of South Fulton. God, we ask you now to bless them. Yes. God, bless them in the matter that they stand in need of. Oh God, we come now asking you to grant down your blessing upon our mayor. God, yes. Bless him, God, now from the top of his head to the sole of his feet. Oh God, we thank you because we are here, and God, you know all about us. God, we come asking you to bless all of the city workers and the city officials, yes. And all the people that work in this great city of South Fulton. Oh God, we can't say thank you enough. Yes. God, we thank you now for life as well as it is. Oh God, we come before you because you're an all-knowing God. God, we come before you now because you're an all-wise God. Yes. Oh God, we ask you now as I get ready to take my seat. Oh God, bless this council tonight. Yes. Oh God, bless them, grant them the decision making for this hour, for this city, for this moment. Oh God, bless them. Yes. If there are any differences amongst them. Oh God, let them live and talk and speak and act in a way that is pleasing to you. Yes. Oh God, once again we say thank you. Thank you. God, we thank you for all of the people here now and this council. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
I didn't hear you. I point of order. I'm pastor today. It's on Greenbower Lane. That's actually in my district. It's actually on my street.
Good to know.
Next on the item of the agenda is presentation and announcement. Proclamation presented to April Ross Council and a proclamation presented in honor of Code of Compliance Month.
Let's go down.
Which is a proclamation? Oh, okay.
This one. ASAP, we go on tonight. Y'all got a mic?
Good evening. Can we have Mrs. Ross to approach this? As we have her family and Mrs. Ross close to us. You know, this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We have our police department who have table setups outside. So we want to honor an individual who has made strides in advocating for domestic violence and putting an end to it, minimize the incidents in our community. Today, whereas the city of South Fulton, the Georgia Commission on Family Violence announced April Ross was announced as incoming Executive Director of Georgia Commission on Family Violence during the opening session on the agency's 25th annual statewide Family Violence Conference at the Classic Center in Athens, Georgia on September 9, 2019. And whereas Ms. Ross, who sat as a member of the commission prior to her selection as Executive Director, has been an outspoken voice for survivors of intimate partner violence in the state of Georgia. Ms. Ross, herself a survivor of attempted homicide by her spouse, worked as a senior assistant district attorney for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office prior to assuming her new position with Georgia Commission on Family Violence on October 1, 2019. And whereas since the shooting incident, Ms. Ross has shared her story across numerous platforms with a focus on improving supportive services for victims, accountability, perpetrators of abuse, and awareness for general public. She became involved with multiple organizational task force working on legislation aimed at reducing the number of domestic violence related to fatalities involving firearms. And as presented the testimony to Georgia legislators about the impact of firearms and domestic violence incidents in committee hearings during the 2018 and 2019 legislative sessions. And whereas Ross regularly speaks to domestic violence survivors and organizations to advocate for change against the epidemic in our society of abuse and violence and intimate relationships, Ms. Ross continues to pursue rigorous physical therapy and rehabilitation activities to improve her mobility and strength. In spite of her injury, she remains steadfast in her belief that with God's grace, she will one day walk again. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and attends Cascade United Methodist Church. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Mayor and City Council commends the efforts of April Ross, and in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, does hereby proclaim Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, April Ross Appreciation Day in the city of South Fulton, Georgia. We are very proud of you.
Thank you all for choosing me for this honor. I take it as a charge that we have a lot of work to do, and I have a lot of work to do taking over the state's agency on family violence, because Georgia has a long way to go. We're still 10th in the nation for the rate at which intimate partners are killed by a spouse or significant other. So we've got a long way to go. I think if you had asked me 5.5 years ago where my life was taking me, I would have been on the way to being a judge and a lot of other things. But sometimes God has a way of showing you what He really wants you to do. And when I started to share my story, it became important for me to not just tell everybody what happened to me, but to start doing and saying whatever it took to make sure that fewer people had the same experience. So I pray that as we go forward through the end of October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we carry with us the mantle that we have to work on prevention, awareness, and change in the area of domestic violence year-round, not just in the month of October. I look forward to partnering with South Fulton and with the community throughout Georgia to make some change for our state and protect our citizens and make us safer. Thank you.
I just want to say, April, make us proud to be the one that you there where you are today. Yet you know that you can do better. And you believe that one day you will walk. I've known your dad here now for 300 years. If you got this pistol fun too, he got. I will tell you, you will walk at some time. Thank you for being courageous. We appreciate you, an outstanding example. Not only those people who are involved in this, but those people who have challenges all over our city. And you give us hope. Thank you so much.
Perfect, that's your window, perfect window. Good, here we go. 1, 3. 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3.
Deuces.
1, 2, and 3. Gotcha.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you, man. Good seeing you, man. Well.
Sorry.
I gotta get the other one. Our next resolution is for us to honor code enforcement, our code enforcement officers. We know that they get fussed at about everything. We know they get blamed for everything. Excuse me. We know they get blamed for everything. We know that we have 100,000 residents, 97 square miles, and they are responsible for enforcing code. We know that some of our areas have a lot of problems. And so today, we want to, the city of South Fulton, whereas code enforcement officers provide for safety, health, and welfare of citizens living in communities throughout the city of South Fulton through the enforcement of building, zoning, housing, environmental property, maintenance, and other codes and ordinances. And whereas the city of South Fulton code enforcement are dedicated, well-trained, and highly responsible individuals who take their job seriously, are proud of their department and local government, and are committed to promoting life safety, improving neighborhood aesthetics in the course of their daily jobs. The American Association of Code Enforcement, acting on behalf of more than 1,300 members, requests that October be set aside to honor and recognize our code enforcement officers as an opportunity to highlight the contributions these individuals have made to the quality of our communities, to celebrate American accomplishments in making collective decisions concerning our cities and regions, to bring quality and meaning to our lives, to recognize participation and dedication of code enforcement officers who have contributed to their time, expertise, improvement of their communities throughout the United States. Now therefore be it resolved, the Mayor and Council recognizes the many valuable contributions made by code enforcement officers throughout the city of South Fulton and extend our heartfelt thanks for continued commitment to public service, and does hereby proclaim the month of October National Code Compliance Month in the city of South Fulton, Fulton, Georgia. And Ms. Reed, can you please come up? And I'm going to turn this over to our new code enforcement manager. And then I want to ask Sheila Reed to come up because she's the director and code enforcement does fall under her.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, well, first of all, I just want to say it's a great honor to be represented here tonight. And I want to thank the mayor and council for the opportunity to come before you guys and be recognized. You know, as council, Homie Willis said, we do get a little bit of pushback from time to time, and we get a lot of bad news comes our way. So it's good. We appreciate the opportunity to be recognized and get a pat on the back. So really want to just thank our director, Ms. Reed. We want to thank all the staff that works hard every single day to keep everybody in compliance and trying to bring the quality of life higher in South Fulton. So thank you.
Thank you.
I will say that I'm very honored to stand up here with these individuals. They work very hard, and I'm proud to be on their team. So just want to thank you all as residents that you allow for us to bring the city forward, as Brian's mentioning. We are on your team, and we're thankful to have you. So just want to say thank you.
I just want to say thank you. You and this department have done an excellent job with very little resources. Hopefully we'll start to change that tonight. We're going to get some money, more money for blighted property, but thank you so much for what you've done with so little. You've been a good student.
Thank you.
If there's any department in the city that I wish I could do away with, it's this department. But you know why I can't do it? Y'all still put chicken bones inside me out. Still put mattresses on straight. You don't need to put mattresses on. You still throw your garbage out somewhere. Don't take it personal. I'm not going to come up here talking about me. Still put your garbage out beside the road. So as long as we do that, I'm honored to have these ladies and gentlemen doing the best job.
Good deal. Here we go. On 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. That's one. Whoops. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Are there any changes to the agenda?
Are there any agenda changes?
Yes. I'm sorry. I want to make a motion to postpone the public hearing.
Let's do it all at one time. You can make one motion.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do you want me to say now?
What are your changes?
We're going to postpone the public hearing and comment for zoning modification M19-004, as well as item 21, the Juneteenth resolution, to the second regular January meeting of City Council, January 28, 2020.
Okay, that's move items number 4 and number 21 to the January meeting,
28, the second.
the January 28th meeting. Okay, any others?
Any other changes? Ms. Gilliard, go ahead.
I can't hear you.
She wants to remove the strategic plan.
From the consent.
Move it to the regular agenda.
Move the strategic plan to the regular agenda.
That's correct. Any further changes? Hearing none,
Okay, now we need a motion.
I'll accept the motion. I'm gonna give it.
I make a motion to amend the agenda as noted.
Properly moved and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? That passes unanimously. I'm sure Mr. Biggins can go. That passes unanimously.
First item on the agenda is public comments.
Before we have public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, council minutes, approval of council minutes, October 8th, 2019.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 8th, 2019 regular meeting.
Properly moved and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? That passes unanimously, Madam Clerk.
Next item is public comments. Speakers shall be granted a total of 2 minutes each, and public comments will not exceed 30 minutes. Speakers will not be allowed to yield or donate their time to other speakers. Speakers must identify themselves and their addresses prior to speaking. Speakers may only address the presiding officer, shall observe all rules of decorum, no debate, disrespect, or obscenity shall be tolerated. The presiding officer shall rule any such individual out of order that fails to comply with the foregoing. We have a total of 15 speakers tonight. I will call out the first 5. Please line up.
Madam Clerk, are you asking that I understand as a request by the newly elected? He's in that list?
Yes. He's number 1.
Okay.
Please line up as I call your name. Honorable Joe Carnes, Joyce Jones, Juliet Rankins, Linda Pritchett, and Glenda Collins. Come on, Mr. Carnes.
All right, good evening. Honorable Mayor, City Council. My name is Joe Carn, neighbor of South Fulton, I guess you could say. I just wanted to come by to thank the mayor and council, as well as thank residents for electing me to serve as the Fulton County Commissioner. It is an honor to serve this city, as well as the entire District 6. And I just wanted to let you all know that this is going to be a team effort. My job is not to get into the middle of city affairs, but to follow the mayor and council's lead and back you guys up on the county level, pushing to bring resources and funding back to whatever projects you all are supporting and looking to do. And that's precisely what I'm going to do. I'm ready to serve, and I'm ready to work in partnership with all of our council members, city manager, as well as our community. I'm going to be accessible, and I'm looking forward to great things and working together in partnership. So I just wanted to touch base, and I'm no stranger to the community. I always have an open door policy, and I just wanted to thank you all. And I think we're making good progress in the city of South Fulton. I want us to keep the progress going, and whatever I can do to help keep that progress going, I'm here and I'm available. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Joyce Jones, Mayor, Councilman, Council, Women and Men. I'm a resident of 1680 New Hope, and I just want to say that my only residence here, my only business here is to help the residents here in South Fulton. I myself couldn't move anywhere. I know it's a lot of people that can't do what I can do, but I'm here to help the people that can't do what I can do. And I want to be a help to any of the other residents that cannot do what I can do. And I'm here for the older people, and my voice is for the older generations. And I'm here to speak for the ones that cannot speak for themselves, and that's why I'm here, to be a voice for those that cannot speak for themselves. And I just want to thank you all and let them know that I'm here to speak for them. And if I be a noise to you all, I have to appreciate, I have to apologize, but I will be here at every meeting. Thank you. Thank you.
Juliet Rankins, District 4. I just wanted to say, Mr. Mayor, I heard you on the radio last week or whenever you were on. I think you did a good job. There's a lot of propaganda still going on, guys, and you have to fight back against the propaganda. Mr. Mayor, a lot of things I don't agree with you on, but you do understand that that propaganda is constant and it's going on, and you have to fight back against it. The narrative, you have to write it. The same person you spoke to on the radio, Mr. Mayor, he was pretty nice to you, and I'm glad you pushed back, because he's been putting on the city of South Fulton that the Camp Creek crime is us, and you know it's not us. That's not even our city. Thank you for doing that. I was trying to do that. He gave me some choice 4-letter words when I tried to do it, so he's pretty nice to you. Okay? So I appreciate that. Also, I appreciate you going to the birthday party at Harold's Ice Bar. You know the one I'm talking about, because before you went to that party, he was saying Harold's Ice Bar was in College Park. But after you went to the party, he said, oh, the mayor of South Fulton showed up at my birthday party. And I didn't hear any more of that. So thank you so much for that.
Also, I want to speak a little bit on St. Leo before my time is up. I don't think you guys should be in the business of promoting these colleges. What is this? Are these the same kind of colleges that have been taken away from black people all this time and people end up with big student loans and this kind of thing? I don't know. I think it should be researched more. Also, why is Human Services not picking the colleges? I think Human Services should research some decent colleges. What about Atlanta Tech? What about Atlanta Metro? What about Georgia State? What about some decent colleges? Columbus State? Some of them do things for police officers also. I didn't really like that. Look, we've been down that road, guys. It's a lot of black people with a lot of debt because of these kinds of colleges. If I'm wrong, you know, let me know, but please, I don't think you guys should be in that business. Let Human Resources take care of the employee benefits.
My name is Linda Pritchett. I live at 379 Sapphire Bend, and I am a victim. As a former employee of the city, it is alarming and disturbing that my former supervisor, Rosie Jackson, would pass out documents related to city personnel matters. It is never right for an employee to release someone's personnel file to the public and use it as a campaign prop. I should have never been singled out when she was asked why she has had 4 legislative specialists in less than 2 years. I fail to understand why she would make me her focus in an attempt to respond to a question at a political forum which I bear no relevance. Rosie Jackson's actions were messy, unprofessional, outrageous, and unbecoming of an elected official. There is nothing that anyone can say to justify the inappropriateness of her behavior. In her own words, Rosie came prepared to attack and discredit me at a debate that I was not a part of. She never once considered how this would impact me and my next career objective. This is not the type of conduct that we should expect seeing or coming from any elected official. Public servants do not conduct themselves this way. The available facts show that I was fired at no fault of my own. This was a determination made by the Georgia Department of Labor. No former employee should have ever been subjected to this type of inflammatory and retaliatory behavior, especially because it simply bears no relevance to your campaign. I hope that no one else has to experience this type of unwarranted negative attention and that the city's officials will address this immediately. You really must do better.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Glenda Collins, Fairwood, HOA. Merck Miles. Merck Miles serves as a recycling center for plastics and paper. Does recycling generate any revenue? Without the Merck Miles facility, this will have a negative impact on dumping in the city. Many developers who build subdivisions in the city do not include amenities, and in addition, the roads running through the neighborhoods are too narrow to accommodate the traffic. The driveways are too narrow and short, which causes the citizens to park on the streets, and the citizens are being fined by the HOAs. This has created dangerous situations for fire trucks and police coming to our rescue. Please demand that the public parking spaces be built in the new subdivisions to help alleviate some of these problems, and request that the developers do traffic studies, which they always avoid. Many of these policies need to be reviewed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speakers are Drusilla Talley Williams, Yoshina Bradford, Michael Johnson, Pamela Harris, and Sir Jose Bryant.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Commissioner Carnes. My name is Pamela Harris. I live in Montclair Estates, District 1. And my concern and question has to do with the city charter. The City of South Fulton presentation from lobbyist Mr. Andrew Long from A.R. Long Company gave us a report on our last session dated October 8, 2019. He mentioned that several jurisdictions want to amend our charter, but he did not share the changes. At that time, Councilwoman Willis said that we want to make changes in our charter and that they would have to take a look at it. We citizens don't want the decision to be made in executive session to propose changes to our city charter. We want the engagement of all citizens regarding proposed changes to the City of South Fulton charter. Question: are you going to hold community meetings on any changes that you are proposing? I'd like to submit my concerns and question for record.
Thank you. I'd like to give this to Okay.
Good evening. I'm Sir Jose Bright, and I live in the Hampton Oaks subdivision, District 4. Last time I had a lot to say, but I didn't get a chance to say everything, but I just have some questions that I'd like answers to.
Excuse me.
All right, no problem, thank you. I understand the city is leasing space for police headquarters and the court on Old National Highway. Will council meetings be held there? How was the decision made, especially since it's not a central location in the city? Did the strategic peak of including Old National as a strategic, was it a strategic location? That's just one part. Whose decision is it for staff to be hired in departments? Does the director of the department make those decisions, or does the city manager make those decisions? And then with respect to the strategic plan, I've taken a look at it online, and I have some grave concerns regarding the strategicness of this document. It's extremely operational, but there are just a few points I'd like to make rather quickly. The vision speaks of an environmentally conscious city, but nowhere do I find objectives, projects, or initiatives that unpack this. If you look at Goal 2, grow infrastructure to solidify finances, it mentions ways to generate new revenue, but it also outlines projects that need funding. But it has no mention of efficiencies on spendings and control. When we look at creating an efficient government, no mention is made of these efficiencies. And then also, we don't have a city hall that is ours yet, and I'd like to know if, in fact, the strategic plan is going to address where the location is for the city hall. That's it. Thank you.
Priscilla Williams. Asked. Yoshina Bradford. Michael Johnson. The next speakers are Phyllis Sheets and Brother Anthony Muhammad. Amatheus Harris, Avon Spence, and Carlos Bright.
Good evening. My name is Phyllis Sheets. I live at 130 Wolf Downs Court. Can you guys hear me okay? And I've made this comment before at a prior meeting for District 3 in regards to the sanitation ordinance that we have. I understand that we have the ordinance, and I understand why we have to have the sanitation ordinance. However, I don't understand how it is that different citizens are having to pay different prices. I understand that there are certain companies, sanitation companies, that offer discounts to communities that have HOAs, and that is apparently not available to those communities that don't have HOAs. And the prices apparently vary from about $20 a month, or I'm sorry.
Brother Anthony Muhammad. I'm an ancient ancestor who knows my cosmological order and frequency to nature. I am the God, the creator of the heaven as well as the earth. No believer in the Roman Catholic Church, religion, Christianity, the Bible scripture, Genesis to Revelation. No human being was born from a woman. I come here to talk about Butler Road, southeast of Camp Creek Parkway. Mr. Edwards, I had talked to Mr. Marvin Arrington. As I said before, we have not had no pay on southeast of Camp Creek going to Campbell since 1992. It also has been several payments over on Camp Creek and Butler Road going southwest in the last 26 years. Now that's unfair. According to the 14th Amendment, we should have the same rights that any Caucasian have or any carbonated people have. If you don't know what carbonated is, melanated people. You don't know what that is? That's you. I'm saying, council, it's great that y'all have this new city. But as I told Miss Keisha Lance Spock, Butler Road has a lot of traffic coming from southwest of Camp Creek, and it had deteriorated a lot of the road on Butler Road in the flat area. But that's something she said they're going to do, because she told me they're going to micro-surface it in 2017. I was there recently speaking about it. They said it's on the agenda, Brother Muhammad. We had the teeth flossing, we need more money. So I'm trying to ask you, do right by Butler from Camp Creek to southeast in Campbellton, because it's time now. It's time to do right. And I greet you, as I did not greet you, my nature I reverence the womb of the woman, Mr. Elk.
Amicus Harris, District 5, City of South Fulton, Council, Mayor. On last Thursday, October 17th, 2019, a candidates forum was held for individuals running for the City of South Fulton City Council. I was present at the debate along with approximately 100 audience members, including 6 City of South Fulton Council members, the City Attorney, and 4 Georgia State representatives. The event was live streamed to thousands of viewers. During a portion of the debate, a candidate pointed out to District 5 Councilwoman Rosie Jackson that she had had a high turnover of legislative specialists during her 2 years in office. She was asked how she would mitigate having numerous aides if re-elected. Instead of answering the question presented, Councilwoman Jackson proceeded to discuss and distribute information contained in my personnel file that existed when I was a city employee almost 2 years ago. My name was not redacted from the paper. I did not consent to the release of any information from my personnel file, and I did not appreciate it. On the face of the document, it states that the document will be disregarded in 12 months. However, it is still in existence 2 years after I resigned. Information contained in the personnel file is confidential. Surely the city respects privacy, HIPAA, and other laws regarding the safeguarding employees' records. If left unchecked, dissemination of city employee records could easily become the norm, and any city employee is subject to being bullied for political gain. The citizens of District 5 deserve better representation and better leadership than which Rosie Jackson provides and has provided since she's been in office.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. My name is Chevalier Carlos Bright Sr. I reside at Camden Manor, which I just moved here this year. I've been following this for long, since I've been here, off and on, just different meetings. And I found something interesting that I realized that based on my background, I'm a retired military personnel. I retired 24 years. I trained with the Marine Corps, Army, different situations. And also, what I was interested in is the bear cap, which I believe in. But, however, it's expensive, and also there's an alternative. Well, it should be a plan B. If you really research it, you have a lot of options. which require technology and also manpower. And so if you introduce both, I think you solve the problem. So the Bearcat protects police officers. And also robotics also protects, which is a lot less. And you could incorporate more police officers in the process. My niece, she's 4'11". She's in California and a shirt. And the shirt right here I'm wearing, she's a fighter. She's a champion in MAA and other combat things of that nature. And also, Plan B, if you guys do your research, there's a robotic shield for police officers. It's kind of similar to a vest, bulletproof vest. However, it's robotics. You can incorporate 5 police officers in that. So that's pretty much what I'm going to say. I have the information if you need it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I'm sorry, my name is Avon Spence and I reside in District 4, Town Creek Subdivision. I represent Fulton Sanitation. I'm one of the primary owners of Fulton Sanitation. And I was here earlier to the meeting and I listened to the discussion. And I just want to point out a couple things. The first thing I want to point out is that at the conclusion of the meeting, it was 4 different haulers out of 7 haulers that was here today. And when we went out there in the hallway, I asked, because I understood that there was a meeting that, that somebody had met with the haulers and they had, wanted to go to one hauler, was suggesting one hauler. And I met with 4 haulers out there and I asked them what happened, because I wasn't notified to meet with anybody, and nobody out the 4 that was here, and it's a total of 7, was invited. So something is wrong with that. I mean, if you're going to meet with somebody, a hauler that's trying to do stuff in the city, why not meet with everybody? How do you pick and choose one particular company over the other? All right? Now, I'm local based. And I looked at the other haulers that was not here, that was not invited. I looked at the other haulers, and they not even from the state of Georgia. So why would you hire, my grandmother told me a long time ago that charity begins at home and spread abroad. Take care of your house first. You don't send your resources somewhere and wait for it to trickle back to you. Something is wrong with that. All right? I do understand the importance of having a competitiveness. I understand that. I employ that. All right? I'm the cheapest hauler out of everybody, and you talk about you want to save somebody, ain't nobody said a word to me. Not a word. Something is wrong with me.
Mayor, Council, that ends the comments from public comments. Next on the agenda is...
Sorry, I just want a word. I think we have a few more minutes for public comment, and I was told there were 2 people that weren't given cards. They asked for cards.
Are you saying 2 more minutes in public hearing out of the minutes allowed?
I'm saying it's 7:54 and we started after 7:30. And there are 2 people.
How many cards how many people spoken for 2 minutes?
All 15 except for the 3 that was not here. I mean, the 2 wasn't here and the lady that said she passed. But we put the cards on the table and no one has come up to say anything to us. But if they're here...
Yes, they're here. Let's do this. Let's hear these 2 at 2 minutes apiece, since there were a couple of people who did not come up to the podium. Madam Clerk, if we could, whoever they are, need to fill out a card. Are they here? Good, they're coming. There's only 2, am I correct, Mr. Khalid?
I know of 2 that stopped me in the hallway. I don't know how many people were denied cards, but 2 stopped me in the hallway.
We're going to take these 2. Just going to take these 2.
Okay, we're gonna just take these two, sir. We're not gonna take any more after the lady in the red.
Okay.
Will someone happen to fill out their card? Okay, go right ahead.
My name is LaPortia Wells Brown. I'm in District 13. I'm sorry. My name is LaPortia Wells Brown. I'm in District 13. My address is 270 Marcliffe Court. I think I had the right district.
Columbus, Georgia, somewhere.
Congressional District 13, City Council District 6.
Oh, 6, okay. I am new to this area. My son plays football for the Old National Knights. There was recently an incident. I did my research on it before my son played. I heard they were supposed to be some amazing people. I was led wrong. When I got there, I found out there was drinking, there was smoking, there were fights that were happening. It was very embarrassing because there was a lot of bright young boys that are there. Me, myself personally, I'm raising my son. I have 4 girls and I have my little boy. He doesn't have a father. He sees them at least 4 times a week. And to see that they take to the field with fighting, my son is very impacted by that. He thinks that's okay. I feel like we should get somebody in there that cares about the kids, you know, that's going to have more order, not lose their money, not nothing. I haven't had a chance to meet any of you guys, but I have had a chance to meet Khalid. He was there doing some of the parking because I guess they couldn't afford parking because they misplaced some of their money. He was there doing some parking with me, myself, and a couple of other parents. He was there for maybe about 20-30 minutes and got everything set up so that we wouldn't have the same incident that we had the Saturday prior. I really just think y'all need to look into that situation a little bit more because the kids are our future. And I, you know, had 5 growing up, and like I said, not from here, I'm from Oklahoma, but I'm proud to say that I now reside in South Fulton. So that's all I really have to say about that.
Thank you.
I want to stop back. I got something I want to add.
No, sir. No, sir. You cannot speak until.
Out of order. Okay.
Hello, my name is Angela Deloney, Mayor, Councilman. Angela Deloney, I reside in District 6, and I'm talking in regards to the leadership of the Old National Youth Athletic Association. I did understand about the incident, and I want to just talk about being a single parent and raising a young man, a king, who is endangered, all of us. So my deal is we can address the issues. It was a leadership issue where the fight broke out. There was violence, and there was an incident with diversity and inclusion, also alcohol, substance, and on the field and off the field, parking issues, and mismanagement of funds. Okay, so this happened with the Old Knights football team for youth recreation. All right, and so my thing is that it has happened, it's done, it's over with, but now we need new leadership. And the way to do that is accountability and correction. Okay, we can't harp about it, we gotta fix it now. Because these young men are looking at, they don't have a father. So we have to look at the men that's on the field. They're not perfect, but we need to do accountability and correction. And with that, I feel like clear communication, organization, observation, analysts of what's going on the field with the youth, get more personal with them and see what's going on with them. Okay, not just the football field. We also need innovation, new ways of handling our youth men, you know, not just playing football, but, you know, teaching them how to be gentlemen as well. Also, proactivity, mentorship, and new leadership skills. You know, we are not perfect. Coaches get in the field and they know coaching skills, they know football, but we need to teach our men how to be men before they become endangered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk.
Next on the agenda is council comments, 2 minutes each.
I'll start from my right, Ms. Robbins.
I would like to inform any resident of the city if you'd like to join us on this Saturday for the Cascade Business Merchants Association's monthly cleanup at the Cascade Driving Range. We're going to encourage you to come out and participate in that. We also have our upcoming town hall meeting, which will be held at Wood Creek Library at 6:30. And the date for that is December 9th. And I look forward to continuing to hear from you and keeping you apprised of developments with our city and District 1. So you can check out or send me an email at catherine.rouse@cityofsouthwoodga.gov.
Ms. Gunn?
We had a very busy week in District 2 last week. We definitely opened and celebrated the Thunderbolt precinct. That is there. It's beautiful. If you have not been to the precinct, please stop by from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So we did celebrate that and we're excited. We also had an awesome town hall meeting yesterday where a lot of residents came out. Very thankful for our city leadership that actually attended and gave out great information. So a lot of those residents are back in the know who said that they weren't. So I really appreciate everyone that came out. There are a lot of things that are continuing to happen. I don't have them all written down as of this time, but I do encourage you to follow me on Facebook, or you can email me at carmelita.gumbs@cityofsouthfulton.pa and continue to believe in our city. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. I have a few announcements. On October 31st, there will be our first speed enforcement camera rollout. We're having a ceremony at 10 a.m. at Seymour and Lee. We did name our legislation of cameras in honor of Renaya Magus, which was the student who was killed in front of Sandtown Middle School in 2018. On November 4th, we will have the grand opening of the Welcome All Fire Station 1 on Welcome All Road. So that's been a long time coming. So please plan to attend for the Welcome All Fire Station ceremony. And then on November 2nd, we will have the Human Trafficking Ambassador Training class at Welcome All Park at 11 a.m. So please make sure you attend. And the Atlanta Business Chronicle published information that Atlanta Meat and Seafood Company Halfrings a $27 million expansion, and I am proud to say that expansion is in District 3, the city of South Fulton, and that expansion was approved today by the Fulton County Development Authority, and I am so proud that that $27 million investment will yield 47 new jobs to complement 260 jobs that's there, and I am so happy that we are moving towards diversifying our tax digest. And so the plant is already there. It has been there since 2005, and we were in competition with 2 other states, which was Kentucky and Florida, and South Fulton got the deal. This article was published in the Atlanta Journal Chronicle, and I will make sure I put it in my newsletters for all residents to get it. Good job, economic development.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for coming. On Thursday night, we will have our first small business roundtable. Small businesses in District 4. Believe it or not, there are over 200 individuals with businesses in South Fulton that have who are licensed business folks. And so we're really excited about this being the first one and bringing people together so that they can share ideas, obtain information, and so I'm really excited about that. And then the second event will be our second economic development tour, which will occur on October the 30th. So we're preparing for that, and we have a long list of developers, and we're sending out the packets and seeing who will show up and who will not. Hopefully a lot of them will show up, and Kwanzaa. So just look forward to hearing much more about all of this. And then I said it during our last council meeting, we will be going, 3 of us will be going, Ms. Reed from the planning department and Mr. Shadid Abdul Salam from Core 5, and me will be going to Bethsaida, Maryland, for the National League of Cities, for the cohort that the city was just inducted to. So we're excited about that as well. Ms. Jackson.
Good afternoon. You all know it's election time. But anyway, let's say it is, but all is well. And I would like to say, how many of you know the word free? When you hear free, you want some of it? On Saturday, we're having a health fair for the entire family. Your cats, your dogs, the mother, the father. We're gonna turn it from 10 until 3 into a health fair. So you'll be able to come out and talk to someone in reference to your cancer needs. You'll have the doctors there, you'll have a chiropractor there, and you'll have Dr. Jalil there, and he will be doing rabies shots for your dogs as well as parvo shots. So we're going to go up to 200 for your cats and your dogs, so if you would like to come out. And also on October 31st, it's going to be Rosie Jackson's Candy Factory and Fright Night, along with Parks and Rec. So Mr. Tony is laughing back there and talking. So I'm hoping you're there. Okay. But anyway, we're having Fright Night and Candy Factory on October 31st. Hopefully you'll come out. Thank you.
Hey, as you all know, you may know, last weekend we had our 3rd annual Electoral College. It is the oldest city event created by a city council person, and we had candidates for U.S. Congress and U.S. Senate, including Teresa Thomas and Sarah Mizzavico and John Ossoff. And our residents got to see, touch, and question those candidates. It was actually one of the first times they have ever all appeared on stage together and taken questions. So this election isn't until May of 2020, and one of their first stops was here in the city of South Fulton. I also want to remind people that early voting has begun, and we do not just have council people on the ballot. There are 2 very important ballot initiatives. One could lower your taxes, one could raise our revenues. And we went over those at the Electoral College. There'll be videos and explanations of them and a voter guide. You can find that at khalidcares.com/vote. And it will be coming next week to youtube.com/khalidcares. The last thing I want to say is that this is going to be the last meeting that we have before we have an election. And I just want to say to my colleagues up here that it has been, regardless of what happens, it has been the most powerful experience of my life serving with you all. And no one will know. People who don't have children don't know what it is to raise children, and people who have not raised a city cannot know the work that these 8 people have put in, and I am so proud to have served with all of you. South Fulton forever.
Mr. Baker. He's crying.
Yeah, I'm crying. Good evening, everyone. I want to start by saying happy late Indigenous People Day. We celebrated Indigenous People Day last week, Monday, and I was proud to, on the Friday prior to it. By the way, we're the only city out of the 535 municipalities in the whole state of Georgia to celebrate Indigenous People Day. So that's the biggest deal, first of all. Secondly, I was proud to have an opportunity to speak with the teachers and instructors at Bear Creek Middle School that actually service our area. And we had an offline conversation about Indigenous People Day because Fulton County Schools doesn't acknowledge it. They still teach our kids about Columbus. And because of that, I had several volunteers from the school system, Bear Creek in particular, to serve as advisors to our new education committee that will be a liaison for our community and the school board servicing and meeting those gaps in between our community with our young people. So I'm proud of that on last week, Friday. As well as I wanted you to mark your calendars for November 23rd at 3 p.m. at the Tracy Wise Center. We'll have our Turkey Classic, whereas last year, just by sponsoring a combination of resources and good friends, I was able to bring this event to Old National, where we gave away over 600 turkeys and canned goods, and we're going to be doing likely double that on the 23rd of November at 3 p.m. It's going to be a battle on the DJs At halftime, it's going to be a celebrity basketball game, and I'm partnering with College Park, who shares the Old National Corridor with us, and I'm inviting everyone out, and we look forward. It's going to be a family-friendly event. There'll be vendors there as well. Anybody interested, please give me a call or email, and you can set you up to be a vendor. Thank you very much.
As you can see, the several of these people up here on this day with me have a lot of opportunities for you to participate in government. And I would hope that you would. The one thing the city manager always says is, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And you don't want to be on the menu. So please be aware and come around. Two things I will mention is that we still are plugging for the census. That is so important. I chair the census board, the census committee, along with my two colleagues, Councilwoman Willis and Councilwoman Dunn. It's very important that we do not leave money on the table because we're not supported. And that it will influence the federal offices. Also, we are not counteracted. Lastly, let me echo what Mr. Green said. Man, go for it. Don't please vote for it. Don't vote. The type of representation that we had in the last election was ridiculous. It was truly, truly ridiculous. And I'll leave you with the words of Emma down there when she said about people and voting, there is too much blood on the floor. People must remember that. The fight for this right, and we stay home and don't exercise that right, it's a scandalous and a shame. So no matter who you vote for, just please vote. Thank you all so much.
Next on the agenda is Chief Financial Officer's Monthly Report, the September 2019 Year-End Financial Report.
Good evening, Mayor and the City Council. I've been given 5 minutes, so I will run as much as I can. This report that I'm going to give you, 30th of September, is just a preliminary report. 30th of September we closed, however, we still had some expenses. On the 18th of October, we had payroll. Some days were for September. So this is not a complete report that you will have. The complete report for September will come October the 12th. So in the summary general fund, we ended up, as I said, that you may see revenues here that are much, much higher than expenses. The expenses were yet to come. So we may celebrate here by coming to complete the end of September, these revenues and expenses will have a big change. But we ended up September with $10 billion on the good side of revenue. And the expenses, we had about 60. So $70 million revenue, $60 million expenses. So we had about the extra $10 million to the good. Highlights on revenues. This is combined revenues. We had about $15 million in the cash flow. And the thing that contributed most were the occupational tax. We had over 250,675 above and beyond what was budgeted. Then we had the revenue property tax. We had over $4.3 million above of what we budgeted for. We budgeted for $30 million, we got $34 million. License permits, we had over $82,000 in excess of the budget. So this is the summary of all revenues. As you see here, we had about $940,000 above what we projected. And remember, on this one, we still have about $2 million that comes a month after. That's on the sales tax. This is also just to see different areas where you have outpaced. That's the property tax that we have seen budgeted for 30 and we got $34 million. We have local options tax that we budgeted for 25. We have got $21 million. That's the one I say it's 1 month behind. So it's yet to come to catch up with that. Then we have 4.5, we still almost closer to. These are contracts that we have. The majority of this one is for fire that we have with the Fulton County on Fulton Industrial. This is for all funds. We had to highlight here, general fund here, it includes municipal courts. So we have $7.3 million in September, $70 million for entire year, that's in the general fund. We have confiscated assets, 10,000, and we have 216. One council member has asked about the confiscated details, so we have those details. The city manager is looking into that. We'll pass them through to you, so you have the details on confiscated revenues. And then we have restricted grants, 362. Hotel, motel, 31 in the month of September, 118 for the year. TIS Plus, we have got so far 2 million. In addition to this 2 million, we have already received another $4.3 million. So we have close to $6.5 million TIS Plus that we have received. Solid waste, 60,000, and we have 295. There was a person asking how much are the revenues in solid waste. We have received almost $300,000. Municipal court, escrow. This is not that one that is in general fund, but this is the money that is in trust. That whatever is there, we will give it back. So that's not the money that belongs to the city, but it's in trust. Expenditures highlights, we have about 88% of the overall expenditures. So as I said, that still some expenses are yet to come. So that 88%, when we completely close, include payroll expenses, that 88 may come to 95, 98, but we'll see. Then the E911 outpaced what we budgeted for, but still we had the cushion of 1.192. So we still within it, even though it went over what we budgeted for. Some expenses here, we talk about overall expenses, we are below 13% of what we budgeted for. Again, expenses are still yet coming. Fire and the PD, they are 19% each of them for the total budget. 19% of the total budget, each one of those. And we have 20% service debt, or 20% was for debt, but as you know, we already paid the debt. This is the summary of expenses. Here it shows 2% of our registration, so this area is a percentage of the total budget, which is 100%. Expenses, again, just highlights of expenses. Personnel, we budgeted for $59 million, so far we are 35. We have the health service, we budgeted for $14 million. We ended up, we saved quite a lot, we paid $12 million. And this is the summary of all the other funds. This is the summary of expenditure. Then we have, we have more revenues than expenses. For the 3% revenues, if we want to make 100%, 50% revenues, and for the 3 of total expenses, we have this 7%. This 7% is going to shrink when we have all expenses for September. Here is what we can get from this page is that we have total assets, which is $27 million. And then we have total liabilities, which is $11 million. So we have more assets than expense liabilities. Expenses include all fixed assets we have, it's not only money ones. Here we have ratios. A ratio is the measure of how we are. If the any ratio is the current ratio is the times 2, that means we have more assets that we are able to meet the short-term goals. So the formula for current assets is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities. The big ratio is to show us how soon we can pay off our current debts. we can pay our current debts within 90 days, or we can turn those current assets into cash that we can meet our short obligations. A debt ratio, anything that is less than 1 is on the good side of it. So you see it's not even 0.5. We are much, much lower on debt. With that, if there's any question, I'm already over the allocated time. There's comment and the questions. As I said, we will have the full once everything has been included in the...
Did you say, I'm going to highlight a couple things you said.
Yes, sir.
You say you were 13% under budget.
So far as of September 30th, but other expenses are not yet there. So we're under 13% of the projected budget. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm trying to let me say in law school. Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you also say that our departments are below budget? That was in your...
Yes, sir.
Did you also say there was more revenue than we had in expenses?
That's correct, sir.
Did you also say that our debt ratio is good?
Correct.
Those are the things people need to take away.
That's what I've said.
Absolutely. That's why I reiterate. Those are the things that people need to take out of here. There's too much other stuff been taken out of here that ain't right.
That's right.
But Mr. Donald has been saying it for a long time. And I want to thank you for putting it in your report. Because those, if we want to go to the news media, those are the things that we need to go for. Because all along we knew that our spending was lower than what people were saying it was. We knew that up here. You know, and once the lady talked about today is that what we have to do, and I'm going to tell you, we're going to have to get ahead of the narrative. If we don't get ahead of the narrative, somebody's going to write the narrative for us, and that's what we've been doing. And I would say today, Mr. Donald, that somebody tomorrow needs to put out the 4 things that I just talked about. And get ahead before someone talks about a $7 million budget, deficit that don't exist. All right? That don't exist. Excuse me. So that's what I want to say today, and Ms. Donald, I challenge us as leaders to each day work for the fact that we need to put our good story out there and tell people what we're really doing. Thank you so much. That's all I have to say. Anybody else? I have a question. Excuse me. You know what? Let me take us off. We're not going to talk out of turn. We're not going to do any stuff. We're going to acknowledge people when they raise their hands or whatever, and then we can go from there. And that goes for everybody, not just me and anybody. Okay?
The queue's not working.
The queue's not working. I don't know who's going to go. The queue's been busy all night. I'll just do it manually.
It's in and out.
I'll just do it manually. Go ahead, Doc.
Thank you for that report. I also want to make sure before we put this out that we just do a little cleanup on page 37 of 269 under information technology for the month of September. I need you to look at that number. I'm not clear what the number is under information technology for expenditures for the month of September. One other area, I think it showed expenditures for September, but it didn't carry over to the year-to-date, and that is in the restricted grants, which would be page 6 of your presentation. The September 2019 figures should be reflected in the second column, October 2018 to September 2019.
What page is it? 9?
Page 6.
Page 6.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Willis?
Yeah. When are you going to bring forth the true up budget?
Second.
The true up? So, the budget that shows what accounts need to be balanced for everybody who's gone, any person that has gone over budget.
So this is the procedure. This is what happened. We closed September. Then I'm going to give you two types of reports. Come Friday, everyone will be given, I'll send you counsel to the city manager, wherever you ended up as it is, untouched. There you will see where you went, you will see for all departments, you will see for everyone, the whole city, where they went up, personnel, operations, everything, untouched. Then thereafter, come October and November the 12th, I have prepared the budget amendment. That's where I will crisscross money from where we went, departments where they went up, they went below. It's fund level. I can move money from one department to the other. Then you approve it. This is the budget amendment. This is how we ended up.
So you move the operations, personnel and operations?
I can move across. That time I will be moving across. I will do that, but you have to approve it. Yeah.
Okay, and so we just got an ordinance. Do you know what this is about? It says an ordinance to amend fiscal year 2020 budget for each fund of the city, South Fulton, Georgia, appropriating the amount shown in each fund as expenditure expenses, adopting several items of revenue anticipation.
So that one is coming on the agenda. That one is to add fire safer grant.
Okay,
Because
that's item number 14.
So it's coming, that one.
Oh, okay, so this is your...
I'll be back, yeah, I'll be back for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Any, I don't say further long. Okay, thank you, sir. All right. Madam Clerk.
Next item is the city manager's September report.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. I guess we'll continue to spread the good news. You have the written city manager's report, the 75-page report that is in your packets and available online for all of our residents. We made some additions to the report and we'll be making more now that you have realigned. Huh? Absolutely not. It's available for your reading and viewing pleasure. But on those 75 pages, we have made some additions and we'll be making more. With the realignment of finance, we're incorporating a variety of information so that not only will you get the high-level information presented by the CFO at the council meetings, you will also get more detailed reports so that you can do a deep dive and actually compare our expenditures versus our programmatic outcomes to give you even more information to make more informed decisions moving forward. So that would include some of the questions you asked earlier today. How is our management of Merck Miles? Is it revenue neutral? Are there opportunities to receive more information? The confiscated funds for police, where we are, how those funds can be used, et cetera, as well as insight into the investments that the city has made on behalf of our residents. I think just to highlight some of the things that the CFO mentioned earlier and to give context, I know that there has been a lot of misinformation that comes sometimes through public comment, sometimes through social media and other places, especially around the budget. So before the true-up budget, where some of the expenses that we've inherited, because that's important, that we're paying for things to right the wrongs that have been done to our citizens before there was actually a city. We had about $10 million in projected savings and we're approximately 15% under our budget, which shows quality management related to the expenditure of taxpayer resources. We also exceeded revenue expectations. We have received our funds based on the report out of the CFO at almost 2.5 times quicker than we're actually expending funds. And so that is an accounting specialist dream. So I'm certain that Councilmember Gilliard would be extremely happy when she saw those numbers. In addition to that, we're also excited to confirm, I know Councilmember Gumbs has been requesting a final date for Amnesty Day, and so we are confirming that that is on November 16th. It'll be from 8 until 4 p.m. Of course, we wanted to notify the council first, but we will start putting the information out as early as tomorrow. There are 3 central locations. One is at Creel, on Creel Road, second at the South Fulton Service Center across the street, and of course at Merck Road. Our seniors also, we've added the ability for our seniors to be able to get curbside service, which is a big enhancement from what was offered through the county. Our seniors age 65 and older can call the South Fulton 24/7 hotline at 470-552-4311, and they can actually set this up as early as tomorrow at noon. And so they can call that number and start scheduling it. To kind of double down on that, what's really exciting is, and Councilmember Khalid is probably going to do a backflip on this one, we will be able to officially have a 311 number for the city of South Fulton in January. And so not only will we have a 24/7 call center, we will be on one of only 2 municipalities in the region who have a dedicated 311 number. So we're excited about that. We'll be transitioning, working with the city attorney for an expedient review of the contract so that we can stay on that deadline. But come January, we'll have an exciting added tool for our residents. I think Councilmember Gumbs already mentioned the Butner Road precinct. I would want to highlight that the initial hours for Butner Road will be from 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Of course, we're looking to expand hours at all of the precincts. I think the mayor and council would like to see those, if not only have extended hours at some point in our future, be 24 hours. While we're not there yet, they will be from 8:30 to 5 p.m. Finally, excited to present to you the strategic plan which you have received, and I know we'll be discussing later, but I would like to highlight that we have been recognized for that strategic plan. One, ICMA highlighted it during the city manager's breakfast this morning, which I was a part of and really excited about. They were very excited about our short-term focus to set the foundation of a new city, which actually no new city in the state of Georgia has done with the time frame that we provided. Also highlighted by the Council of Quality Growth, and we received a call today that Biz Now is going to feature our efforts to set the strategic vision of the city. So I'm excited about that as well. And with that, I will conclude the city manager's report and entertain any questions you might have.
Any questions of the city manager? Hearing none. Next.
Next is the city attorney's report.
So I have 2 items. You have quite a way to go for the agenda, so I'll defer one to next meeting. So the second item is, I just want to give you a heads up. Union City has contacted me. There is a property owner who is in South Fulton who is close to the borderline for Union City, and he derives his water from a well source, but he would now like to connect to the water lines that run through the community. There is no Atlanta water line that's anywhere remotely close, I've been told. So his request is to connect to Union City. I've been told by the city attorney that the Union City Council is agreeable to his request, and that if the mayor and council has no objection, that they will prepare a draft document to bring back before you. So this is just really for notice purposes, just letting you know, unless you tell me otherwise tonight, I will continue to engage with Union City and then bring that document back before you for review.
What do you want to say?
Yes, going forward, I would like to have a monthly report of all litigation items. I know you can't publicly share that because they're litigation and you can't publicly share that, but I would like the city council to start getting a report on all litigation, even the ones that is forwarded over to risk management, what the litigation is, when we received it, and what's the outcome, or if the outcome is pending. And I would like to have that on a bi-monthly basis if possible.
Yeah, I can certainly do that.
Okay, so when can you, would it be okay for you to start providing the next one at the next council meeting?
Let's see, the next council meeting would be the 12th, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
What's the 12th? Yeah, I can provide it for you by then.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Here's a question in terms of the sewer. While it may not be close to the city of Atlanta, what about Fulton County?
So I've been told that the only piping and infrastructure that is even remotely close is Union City. And that's the representation that's been made to me.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for the attorney? Okay.
No, nothing there.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Next item is consent agendas, item 7. Proclamation was presented to Black I Am Awards Appreciation Day. Number 8, council approval of the following board appointees. Councilmember Khalid appointed Stanley Muhammad to the Ethics Board. Mayor Edwards appointed Kevin Grimes to the Finance Committee. Item number 9, council approval to accept Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant awarded to the City of South Fulton Police Department in the amount of $10,676.22. Item number 11, council approval of intergovernmental agreement of automatic aid with the City of Fairview Fire Rescue. And number 12, council approval to enter into a lease agreement with Company 2 Fire Apparatus for the lease of a ladder truck for 6 months at a cost of $6,000 per month.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve. I move that we approve consent agenda for Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019.
I second.
Properly moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? That passes unanimously. Madam Clerk.
The next item, previous agenda, council approval of the second reading and adoption of shopping cart ordinance. Councilmember Jackson and Ryle.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes, I have one question.
Okay, you got one down here.
So when will this go into effect, the shopping cart ordinance?
90 and 60 days. It's addressed in the ordinance.
Okay. And so will there be some type of notification that we will send out to all?
Yes, the communications department has been working on it.
So will it just go to will it go to all businesses or just go to the stores that have shopping carts? Okay.
Mr. Khalid, go ahead.
I understand that we have an ordinance on the book from the zoning code, and that we actually heard a case in code enforcement court today. I'm just wondering, how does this ordinance differ from that ordinance?
So if I get I have an answer for you, but because it involves an active case before the zoning board, I can explain that to you in executive session.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
You need to carry the motion.
Good enough. All in favor?
Are we gonna try to use the machine?
No. Read carry.
You have it.
Read carry. Go ahead. That was unanimous.
Item number 14, council approval of second reading and adoption of FY20 budget amendment.
I'll accept the motion. Hearing none.
I make a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of amended fiscal year 20 budget ordinance.
Second. Properly moved and second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes unanimously, Madam Clerk.
Next item, council approval of events resolution.
I move to approve the resolution for events.
Second. Properly moved and second, any discussion?
Yes, I have a question for the attorney. Exclude events for the purpose of...
Use the microphone, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need a microphone. Excluded events for the purpose of resolution. So regular and special council meetings and all these things listed 1 through 5. Are they not considered? I guess I'm not understanding.
So the way this works is that if it's under the excluded category, you would not be required to get the authorization.
Okay. So, for example, I have the Welcome Mall Festival every year. So, will I now have the authorization of the council to do that?
No, so that, no, given what I know about that festival, it appears that that would fall under 5A.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and that would be an event hosted by the mayor or less than 4 council members where the event is publicized by such officials. It's being offered by the hosting official and not the city. It is paid for using funds from the hosting official's district budget.
Okay, I just want to make sure this is not something that's going to make having this more complicated.
Any other discussion, Mr. Khalid?
I do think that, I just don't want our staff to think that we're done with this. I do think this is a great first step, but I do think that we have some more work to do to figure out other kinds of events, citywide events, and determining our capacity as a staff to actually produce those kinds of events. And create a calendar so that we aren't creating them for the others.
I do agree with you on the calendar creation of this committee and the capacity. That's very important, so we'll still do it. Any other further comments? Dr. Rao?
The definition under line 34 and 35, and this is more of a question for the attorney. The last listing speaks to legislation. Do you foresee any issue with that? The other ones are very broad for legislation could be considered a governance role. So I just want to make sure from that standpoint, do you foresee any concerns or challenges with that language?
Not with respect to legislation. So the way that this is interpreted is if it's going to be an event where you invite members of the public to recognize like any type of legislation, like for example a zoning meeting, where you would have proposed legislation laid out for public comment, public input, then that would constitute a city event.
I'm not trying to create a problem. I just, again, just wondering about it. Because would that be typically a public hearing?
Well, it would be a public hearing in the sense that if you were having a meeting to adopt the zoning code. But like, just like a...
Or zoning case for that matter.
Well, it excludes, if you look at the excluded events, subsection 1, it excludes regular or special council meetings. So it would not include those events if they were occurring during your regular course of business.
That's what staff is consistently reporting, is that when we have events and we have more than one event, it strains them when they have to try to provide resources to more than one event on the same day.
Okay, let's vote. Everybody voting? All right, then, yes, Ms. Okay, that's unanimous.
Next item is number 10, council approval of the 2020-2023 City of South Fulton Strategic Plan.
I move that we approve the street council strategic plan 20. Oh, I'm sorry. I move that we approve the strategic plan 2020 through 2023, City of South Fulton strategic plan. Second.
Properly moved to second discussion. And none, all those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, you doing right here.
So didn't you pull this off for discussion, Councilwoman?
She pulled it up for, yeah, but that's for the regular.
For discussion, right? So.
Madam Clerk, well,
She pulled it off, but she didn't say why. She pulled it from the consent agenda to the regular agenda.
But for one thing, I haven't read it yet. So we need to.
if someone makes a motion, whatever you want to do.
I would have really, I have not had an opportunity for a lot of different reasons that you guys might know about. I haven't had the opportunity to even read it the way I want to. I haven't even speed read it. And I don't want to vote without doing it.
So there's a motion on the floor.
Yes.
That's what.
Okay, the motion is to approve.
I mean, so are we holding the strategic plan because one person didn't read it? I mean,
no.
I'm asking the mayor.
No, she just saying she's just simply saying that's why she wanted to put it under consideration. So it's up to us to decide whether we want.
So we're gonna have a discussion.
Discussion we're in now. We're in discussion now. Okay, Mr. Baker, go ahead.
I'd just like to make an amendment to hold it to the next meeting, allow our colleague to read it. You know, she's had some circumstances that they should allow. We waited this long.
So we have a motion on the floor now, so
Yes.
do that.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to hold it, and I'd like to make a substitute motion.
So the person has to between their motion.
I didn't accept it either, so.
I felt like I said. So let's vote. All those in favor?
Of the strategic plan?
Yes.
Forward?
Yes. Yes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
While y'all having a dialogue, which is the vote?
The motion is to approve the plan.
Right. Okay. That fails. Go back to vote.
So are we holding it?
And that automatically
Can
comes
somebody
back.
make?
It automatically comes
It
back.
automatically comes
It'll
back.
come back.
Next.
Actually, it doesn't automatically come back if it fails, does it? Point of information, if it fails, it fails.
That's true, I'm sorry.
Yes, it doesn't
It
automatically.
takes 16.
And so, Mayor, we would love some insight on how to move forward with the strategic plan.
I'd like to make a motion
Yeah.
to hold the strategic plan to the next meeting,
Second.
please.
Can you specify the date, please?
Is there a second?
To the November 12th meeting.
Second.
Yes, second, properly, second, hold. This is discussion. All those in favor? You got it.
All those opposed? All those opposed?
All those opposed again? Those opposed? Nobody?
It's unanimous.
Is unanimous now?
Next item on the agenda, council approval of 2019 engagement letter with Mullen and Jenkins.
I make a motion to approve the 2019 engagement letter with Martin and Jenkins for our audit.
Second. Probably move to second, discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Baker.
I don't know to what extent our agreement goes inside her acts in the work session, but I think someone came off a public comment and it still is resonated with me. There are 7. I think we have the most HBCUs out of any state in the whole country, and all of these other schools.
This moment.
This is Mullen
Oh,
and
my
Jenkins.
bad. I apologize. I'm sick. I told y'all. The next one.
Regroup.
Are we voting?
Yes. All in favor? Yes. Madam Clerk, go right ahead.
Next item on the agenda is council approval of the first reading of a false alarm ordinance.
Okay, go right ahead. Madam Clerk.
Next item, council approval of resolution and agreement with St. Leo University.
So I move to approve the agreement with St. Leo University.
Subject to the amendment that we limited to,
Oh, yeah.
so we changed to
Yes.
please.
So I move that we approve the agreement with St. Leo University with the amendment that we exclude residential benefits.
Is that correct, Madam Attorney?
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay. That was a second. This is discussion. Go ahead, Ms. Thomas.
So just so I'm clear, this is a free program that is for our employees? I can't hear.
Get your message.
Just so I'm clear, this is a free program that's being offered to our employees and public safety officers? All employees. All employees.
Correct.
It's not free.
Not free.
Right. Well, it's free in the sense that the city,
So let's
the
clarify.
city doesn't have a cost, and in exchange, they will give discounts and other incentives to employees who might pursue educational opportunities.
Okay, and also too, Human Resources are also looking at other partnerships as well with other universities. City manager, is she?
So, yes, we are, not necessarily for tuition reimbursement and things of that nature, but we have already met with Georgia State University twice, University of Georgia, as well as Clark Atlanta University, with others that we'll be talking to, but we started conversation with all three of those in different areas. Some to help us with implementing the strategic plan, others for interns, also to help augment staff activities. So we're talking to colleges and universities around the region on how to help support the city.
I wanted to ask, is this agreement exclusive in any way? That they would have any exclusive, they would be the exclusive endorsed by the city person, or is there any exclusivity you are in?
No.
Because I do want to respect the people that we heard in public comment. I know sometimes y'all may not listen to TV, but I do want to maybe, if this fails, I would like to maybe hold it to just do a little bit more investigation to resolve our constituents, because we made a motion in a second, so we're in a vote now. So it would have to fail to do a hold. But I do think that we might need to do that just out of respect for some of the constituent concerns we raised tonight.
Move in with Mr. Baker.
Yeah, I think it's more to it than that. It's like, until the agenda packet came out, I didn't even know what St. Leo was. And I've been here for 20 years. And I just think that there is some level of exclusivity, because we're going to allow them to be on our website. We're going to allow them to come to all of our city events and actually solicit our community. And I believe to allow that type of exclusive access when we haven't granted it to anyone else up until this point does create an issue if there's, I mean, outside of the presentation, which was good, but I think that it's kind of a skip past our lane. Mr. Donald said that our HR is doing some of the lead work and reaching out, but I believe that if more universities knew that it was an opportunity to directly utilize our resources as a municipality to solicit our community, they would jump at this opportunity that's available in the same thing.
Let's vote.
I wasn't coming. I would ask.
I told the comment was you did. Let's vote. Let's vote. All those in favor? All those in favor? That fails for lack of 4 votes. Next, Ms. Clerk.
Next item, council approval of first reading to amend the code enforcement ordinance.
Is this the first reading?
This is the first reading.
Yes, this is, Mayor Clerk, this ordinance. Excuse me. Go ahead. I was gonna say, I know that it is the first reading, but I did just want to acknowledge that we celebrated this read in our code enforcement department, so I urge us to just all take a look at this. We have not really been given authority to write tickets, but we haven't actually provided any money to resolve the issue. So I do want us to just take a look at this.
All right. Madam Clerk?
Council approval of resolution to recognize all election days as a holiday.
So there is a correction. I do want to make this, and I'm sorry, I was not told that this was coming to the agenda tonight, so that I know. I just want to strike a word, a clause. No, the section involves line 53. It should say the city of South Fulton should hold no meetings, not conduct any business. So it actually would not be, all of these days would not be city holidays, which means that this has no physical impact now. It's just that we wouldn't have any meetings in those election days.
Mr. Milan?
So Councilman, I would want it to say that the city of South Fulton shall not hold any meetings.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what it should say.
Okay.
It should not, actually.
The initial financial impact on this was how much?
I don't think we are taking note of the financial impact, whether we have written them, we're going to make use of them.
I'm just asking. What was the original financial impact?
It will cost us one day.
Per day.
50,000. 50,000 per day.
For 50,000 for special staff that are supposed to come.
So I'm trying to equate that to what Mr. Glee just said.
So the wording of the ordinance, which is incorrect here, it was put on the agenda without contacting me, but the wording of the ordinance says the city of South Fulton shall conduct no business. That would mean that all employees would be off, and it would be an employee holiday. That is the $50,000 cost. When you strike that and it just says that we shall hold no meetings, we're actually saving money considering that we pay, was it $1,000 every time we're in this room? So if we are not meeting, every time we don't meet, we're saving $1,000.
Well, the problem is that we're not going to be paying $1,000 forever. And I think that this resolution will follow us if we don't. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was concerned. I definitely supported when we talked about our own municipal elections, but then you got judges, you have so many and the implications. But I think what you said makes sense. I just think maybe clean it up and bring it back so there's no confusion about it.
No, I think it's clear. We have the reason that it's important is because we actually have a runoff election. So it is possible that for the runoff election for some city council members here, if we were to have a runoff election for some city council members here, if this resolution is not passed tonight, we could have a meeting on the night of that election. And I think that would be inappropriate.
I just, again, I think because of fiscal implications, we really, instead of rushing, you know, I think we should get it right because this sets a precedent. And so, I think you have support that we wouldn't have meetings on elections, but I think to go this far and, change one word and look back and say, oh no, that really wasn't cleaned up, I think could be problematic.
Well, what was the vote? Was there a motion on the floor?
Not yet.
I make a motion to approve this resolution as amended with no fiscal impact.
Second.
Properly moved to second, discussion.
So I have to agree with Councilmember Arao. For example, when we had a unforeseen circumstance with the Fulton County Commission 6 race, we had to, there was a special election, there was a runoff, and, we can't continue to interrupt our normal course of business because of unforeseen circumstances. There are going to be unforeseen circumstances in races. There are going to be runoffs in some cases. There may not be runoffs, but I think the pun intended was for us to the national, the recognized, not national, the recognized holidays. We have addressed it. I think we've made a statement, and I don't think we should continue to go back and get big at the ordinance.
So what is the language? So, again, just so I'm clear, City Attorney, what is the language that we are changing to make it amenable?
It's the bolded section. So the unbolded section where it says observation of holiday says that the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November is going to officially be election day. So that's item 1, and then the second the bolded section says that the city will not hold any meetings unless they're mission critical on election days, which includes primary, general, runoff, and special elections.
So where, I don't see mission critical. Where is that again?
It says excluding, do you see the bolded language?
Oh, okay. So excluding mission critical and emergency matters, the city of South Fulton shall
It would be amended to say shall not hold any meetings on a primary, general, runoff, or special election day.
And what is the definition of meeting?
Just a public meeting under the state code. So that would include board meetings.
So pretty much you're saying council meetings, board meetings.
Yes.
All official city business.
Well, not official city business in the sense that employees would still come. So he took out the section that says shall conduct no business. So employees would still be required to come to work, but you couldn't hold any city meetings, board meetings, commission, etc.
After a certain time?
No, just at all that day.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? That passes 4-3.
Next item on the agenda is council approval to reschedule or cancel the November 26th and the December 24th meetings, regular and work session.
I make a motion to cancel, I make a motion to cancel the November 26th and the December 24th meetings.
I can't hear you.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for real estate personnel litigation.
I second that not to exceed 10:30.
I don't think we should put a time on it because I don't want us to have to keep coming out here extending it. So I think we should go into executive session for real estate. Yeah.
Did you accept it?
Khalid, are you amenable to 10?
10 o'clock? That's 1 hour. I mean, that's 30.
10:07.
10:07, yes.
All right.
Now, will y'all go back there? 10:07, 10:09.
All right.
All right, okay. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, please, let me get you to say something. We're still in discussion, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to say that for every, for the time we lose to take to get back there, we add it back. Because typically when we ask to go into executive session, it takes people about 5 to 10 minutes to get back to the room for us to get started.
We will keep our timeline. Okay? All those in favor? Yes.
I need to make a motion that we close executive session.
Second.
Properly moved to second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? All right. I need another one.
I make a motion that we reconvene.
No,
No.
we did that already.
Well, I make the motion for the other, that we close executive session.
We already did that.
Like to make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
Properly moved to second.
No action.
No action.
No, we had no action taken.
I said no action.
Properly moved to second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
I'm sorry.
Raise your hand.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
I'm sorry,
Point
Mayor.
of order.
That
We have action taken.
That wasn't action taken.
Yes, we did.
We need to reconsider the
December
Yes.
meeting date.
I make a motion that we move the December 17th zoning hearing to December 10th in lieu of the December 10th meeting.
Second. Been properly moved to second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? That passes.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Properly moved to second. Any discussion? All those in
I
favor?
want to, discussion, I want to thank everyone who stayed with us tonight.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Oh, aye.
All right.